Meg here, and I'm your Monday substitute host here on The Pagan Perspective. So this week's topic is about divination on our path. So my path is all about this path is all about living in the here and now. We only have the present. There's no use in dwelling in the past, and the future is never really there. It's always in the future. So there's really no point in trying or staying in that direction either. We have to live in the now. And what's important is now, and what influences us and changes our lives is the now. And so I never use divination to try to foretell the events that will occur in the future. I also never really use divination to, I don't use divination to answer questions that I may have. Instead, I try to use other forms to extract these ideas or these worries or the answers that we all really have within us. Sometimes they're just very, very deep, and we need some sort of tool to help us get it out so that we can see it in a sense, and it would be clearer in our mind so that we can go from there. So sometimes I do like to use tarot cards or Lenormand cards to kind of ask in a sense, or clear my ideas in a way that, or extract the answer that I already have within me regarding the current cycle or a current event that's going on that maybe is going on a bit too long or is a bit challenging, or maybe I'm sort of not so sure, and it kind of helps get these thoughts out so that I can see clearer, and from there be able to make decisions, or at least ease my emotional state enough so that I can think more logically and clearly and make better decisions. So yeah, I don't feel so much that this sort of divination is a message from above or from afar or from the heavens, but because I think, as I said, that regarding our lives, I think that we were already given the tools that we needed within us or around us. So sometimes it might be within another that we will find the answer, or it's just so deep inside of us that we just have to find a way to extract it. And so for me, that's divination, and we each have the tool that works for us. And so for me, for example, I like to use tarot cards and Lenormand cards. I used to use pyromac. I knew I wouldn't be able to spit it out as soon as I turned this camera on. Pyromancy, which that one, using fire, because I feel very close to the element of fire naturally. But it just didn't feel deep enough. It didn't work deep enough for me. It wasn't getting into the nitty-gritty of my mind and soul to extract the answers or the guidance that I needed at that moment. Whereas the tarot just sort of fell into my lap. It just kept pushing into my life, and finally I accepted it, and it just clicked. And the only tarot deck that I've ever had is the very one that fell into my hands, but that's another story for another video. And it's the Marseille, and I feel very connected to the tarot, but again, I don't use it to foresee future events. Instead, I ask it for, I just have to find the right question to ask, to get the guidance to extract the answer that I already have within me. Now, some might say that it's a message from the universe, but I think the universe, because we are a part of the universe, we already have all of this within us, so it's still coming from us, and our interpretation of the cards is influenced heavily by our present circumstance. So our interpretation of one card one day could be completely different from one card the other day for the same situation, and just because of the way, or because of what we were feeling that day or what we had experienced that day. So I could not agree with someone who says that it's a message from the heavens directly, because we are still in our human physical form, and we are heavily influenced by our limitations of it. However, I do believe it is a gift from the universe, in the sense that we were able to create these tools to extract these answers that we have within us. And so yeah, for me, that's divination on this path. Also, I use divination in the sense that I make birth charts using the tarot or a regular deck of playing cards, and it's with the place, time, and date of your birth. I can calculate, and numerology, of course, I can calculate the sun cycle, your sun cycle, and certain characteristics and certain faults, and sort of, it's a guidance, it's a guideline. Again, it's not telling you what's going to happen in your life, but it's guiding. It's a guidance in the sense that you can be aware that, oh yes, okay, these events are occurring at this time, which should be expected because oh, that's clear. So I can do a video regarding life charts, but just to give you an idea, it's something that kind of looks like that. And you have your cycles, and sort of like every so many years this sort of event will happen, but then you have a new beginning at this time, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't tell you what event and what new beginning. So there you go. So yeah, so that's my general idea of divination. It's just live now. Don't keep trying to chase the future and trying to get one step ahead, because you'll never succeed at it. What matters is now. If you need guidance or you need help getting the answers out, then find your tool, find your divination tool, but try not to get hooked on what do the cards say, what do the cards say, what do the cards say, because I find you'll block yourself, and then you won't be open anymore to receiving any sort of message, or going along with your life. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. So until next time, safe journeys to you all.